What they do, what they do. I am Josh Jones, ESQ, also known as the Dope Black Lawyer. And I just want to say welcome to everybody who is watching Beats, Rhymes, and Crimes live. Type live right now if you're watching with us live. Appreciate you for being on with us right now. And if you're watching the replay, type in replay. As always, I'm live from the 305 Miami-Dade County. And you probably have grown accustomed to Ali LaFlare being on with us, but Ali will not be with us today. Sadly, he sends his regrets. This is his favorite place to be on a Thursday, and he's a little under the weather, so we're gonna wish that you get well, brother. And we got a lot to talk about, man. So I'm not gonna say it's the chickens coming home to roost, but tell me what you think when we get to it. We got a story where a guy called a lady a stupid nigger, and we got an update on that. So we want to let you know what's going on with him. All right. So I'm not gonna hold you. This is Beats, Rhymes, and Crimes live, the number one place to get information and legal tips related to the culture. So, we're not talking about the stories that you hear on the news on a regular basis, but we break it down to stories that matter to the culture so that you can apply them to your life. You can learn from those examples, and we can try to make the law a topic that people don't necessarily care about or don't necessarily understand easily, a topic that people can kind of relate to. So we're just going to jump right in, y'all. We're not going to hold you. So you already know we went live earlier in the week, but Jonathan Majors was found guilty. All right. So what was he found guilty of? As you know, his former girlfriend pressed charges against him for assault and harassment. And the jury came back and they convicted him of the lowest count of assault and also charged him with the second degree harassment. So basically, the jury didn't necessarily think that what happened was intentional, but through his actions, they do believe he made contact with her, causing her harm. And then as far as the harassment, that is any course of conduct that you do repeatedly that annoys a person. So we probably are all guilty of harassment right now. So let us know if you think the jury came back and made the right decision to convict Jonathan Majors on harassment and third degree assault. Yeah, so it's an interesting charge there. So it's not none of the charges were that serious, but it was the least serious of all the charges that they found him guilty of. But shortly thereafter, they must have already had it in the clip, because right after the verdict came out, Marvel came out with a statement saying that they were no longer going to be working with Jonathan Majors. He's been released from whatever contracts and everything they had. Typically, you're going to have some type of moral clause or something like that in a big contract like that. So if for whatever reason your conduct is determined to violate that clause, they can get out of it. So essentially, they believe that he's been convicted. So that means that they're not going to be able to get a return on their investment by working with him. It could harm or tarnish the Marvel brand. So he's been dropped from Marvel. He was playing a lot of movies. He was on the rise. He was doing his thing. So let us know. Do you think Marvel had no choice but to let Jonathan Majors go? I'm curious to know what you think. I saw a lot of people talking about it online, and people were talking about the list of people, even from Marvel stars like Robert Downey Jr., a lot of the things that he was facing. Ezra Miller, somebody I'm not really that familiar with. I think he's in the DC comics. They talked about Woody Allen. They talked about all these people that still were able to keep their careers going. But with such a low charge like this, Jonathan Majors is on the outs with Hollywood right now. So I want you to say, do you think there's anything about that that's fishy? Do you think it's not right? Curious. And I'm gonna tell you, I think that he's gonna be okay. Obviously, he was like on a trajectory to be like the number one guy, one of those top one or two guys. He may never make it back to that level, but I think he's gonna still be able to work. In this country, people love to see a redemption story. So if he can come back from this, maybe become a part of some type of organization that makes sure that people don't get harassed or assaulted, or do whatever he does, or just take time and just kind of lay low for a while, he can always come back. So think about it. A lot of people are naming those names, obviously, because those are white actors. But Mike Tyson, another person. He was convicted of a rape, and today nobody talks about that, or it doesn't affect his ability to have a career. Right? He's been able to kind of rehab his image. So I think that's possible. But on the flip side, if you're an a-hole, you can't do that. People are never going to stop talking about it. So it's definitely important for Jonathan Majors to kind of either lay low or do something to kind of endear himself to people. Because to me, worse than the video showing whatever type of assault was the audio of him kind of belittling the former girlfriend, saying that she was not of the certain caliber when he's such a great man. So I think that probably kind of turns people off to some degree more than the allegations of the harassment, the assault. But we shall see. We don't know. So let's keep it moving, y'all. We got Tory Lanez and Meg Thee Stallion back in the news. So we talked about last week that they found the bodyguard slash driver who was missing the entire trial, and they had an affidavit that shows that said that he saw a woman shooting the gun, and basically trying to say that he saw a woman with the gun. He didn't see who shot the gun, but basically trying to say it's possible that it was not Tory. So now, as expected, there's an appeal. Tory's team. We talked about his new legal team. So there's an organization that he's been a part of, helping incarcerated people to get legal support way before he was brought into this situation called Unite the People. So Crystal Morgan and Michael Hayden are his new legal team. And as a part of his appeal for a new trial, they're using that affidavit. So in the past, and they're also talking about his childhood trauma as well, with regard to a resentencing, saying that that should be considered and factored into a sentence, and talking about sort of his counsel being inadequate, saying that they didn't, make arguments that they should have made and things like that. Tory wanted them to make the argument, to at least put it out there to the jury, that Meg's former assistant and best friend, her name is Kelsey Harris, was the actual shooter and not Tory. They decided not to do that. They had emails. It's a 50-something page long appeal, request for a new trial through the appellate process. So a lot of this wouldn't even be possible. But recently in California, the governor signed a bill that says that so before, you couldn't make a petition for a new trial based on evidence that could have been discovered before the trial ended. But now the governor changed the laws to say that you can, as long as the evidence is presented without substantial delay, and it's more likely than not that that it would have changed the outcome of the case. So if there's evidence to support that somebody actually was the shooter that was not Tory, I could see where you could say that would have changed the outcome of the case. But just saying that, you saw somebody else with the gun, I'd say not so much. For all we know, all four of the people in the car touched the gun, but that doesn't mean that's not evidence of making it more likely than not that somebody else was the shooter besides Tory. So the appeal is going to be going on. It's going to probably be a few months before we hear any more information, but we're going to keep you posted with Tory Lanez content. Meg Thee Stallion has been out saying, don't believe the blogs. People have, she's saying she's back. All the people have been against her all this time. And now she's equipped to handle it. She said in the past, people knew that social media critics. She's saying y'all need to really stop believing people who are making these accusations and saying things to the blogs, and actually read real journalism. So she's saying that Tory didn't take the stand. So, he could have defended himself. Most lawyers are going to tell you not to take the stand as a defendant. So I don't hold that against him. And a jury's not supposed to do that either. She's talking about, why are you defending him when he wouldn't defend himself? So to some of the other celebrities and people out there who are making statements about her. So tell us what you think. Do you think Tory needs to just chill out and just do his 10? I don't know. It seems like the appeal process is always an uphill battle, So I don't blame him for like exhausting his appeals, going through the process, trying to see if there's any chance that the case had any type of flaw that will entitle him to a new trial. But um, I don't see that happening for him anytime soon. Charleston White, man, this brother right here is. I feel like I see him on social media almost every day. So as you can see, he was arrested. All that talking he does, and he did end up getting arrested for a cruelty to animal charge and 2 counts of assault with a deadly weapon. So it's not the most serious charge, the animal cruelty, depending on exactly what happened. But I don't believe he has any type of record. He wasn't charged for being a felon um, with a gun. But man, he's always very vocal about a lot of things, and he was in custody as of a couple days ago, and he's probably out by now. He had a $31,000 bond, so we don't really know a whole lot about what's going on. But we do know that he has a lengthy criminal history going back to the 90s, according to Hip Hop DX, and that he was charged with kidnapping an Asian woman, according to them. There was an FBI investigation about that. He also was being escorted by police for after that. And he came back and he said, hey, and they said, I got Asian girls. Now, this is what the FBI, they said, I got Asian girls held hostage with Glock switches and bombs. What they did was they was watching my live because they watch my live all the time. So he's got these legal issues, but he does have an organization called, it's one of them Young Thug acronyms, helping young people excel youth outreach program. So the Hype Youth Outreach Program. So it's all about helping youth get their lives back on the right track. So let us know, man. Are you familiar with Charleston White? He does talk a lot about having guns and being willing to use his guns. So I could see this being the case where he is going to have to be held accountable in some kind of way because he's doing way too much talking, and he's from where you from? I think T Brock, tell me, aren't you from that Fort Worth Funky Town area somewhere out there? Let us know. Let us know where you're watching from, if you're watching live or on the replay. Curious to know where everybody's watching from. So hopefully you can he doesn't get any time. I mean, it doesn't sound like anything too serious. So hopefully he bounces back. Man, this brother right here, he's living the life. So you already know who this is. It's Cameron of the It Is What It Is podcast. So it's a lot going on with him, man. I mean, he shot a shot at Nia Long, and after a year, he had an opportunity to meet her at a birthday party for LeBron James's good friend. Both of them were there. They met. It seemed like they hit it off. So that was cool. That was going well. His podcast with Mace is going super good, but his copyright infringement lawsuit, not so much. So if you see the picture of him in the pink holding the cell phone, that's kind of an iconic image of him from back in the early 2000s. However, he did not take that picture. He does not own the rights to that picture. And he got sued for selling merchandise involving that picture. So the actual photographer filed a lawsuit for copyright infringement, and Cam actually never responded. So she got a default judgment against Cameron. And what she's asking for is $57,000 plus $10,000 in legal fees. And she wants to audit Cam's brand for all the merch with this picture that he sold so she can access those profits. Now, tell me what you think. If somebody takes a picture of you and you use that picture and make money off of that picture, do you think you should have to give them the bread too for that? Like, what do you think should happen there? I'm curious to know what the people think, because I can understand why you would think, oh, this is a picture of me. Let me throw it on a shirt. Let me do something with it, So I'm curious to know what you think. If you think that it's all good, you've obviously learned that it's not. You can't just go out here and use it, But I think the most important lesson that we could learn here from Killer Cam in this whole thing is you got to respond. If somebody sues you, wherever you're located in Florida, you have 20 days to respond to a lawsuit. If you don't respond, they can go to the court and seek what's called a default judgment, meaning that they win because you didn't ever reply. So make sure that you always, always, always reply to a lawsuit. So we don't know if he could have won in this case, right? We can suspect that he didn't own the rights to the photo, and therefore he would have needed permission to use the photo, even though it's a photo of him. There you go, Janaea. Not if it's copyrighted. So, and if it's copyrighted, is not even in question, because pretty much anytime you create something, you write a poem, you write a rap, you take a picture, you automatically have a copyright. Now, there are certain things you can do to try to make your copyright stronger. By some people, seal it in an envelope and they save it, and some people file for stuff through the U.S. Copyright Office. So there are ways you can kind of make it more known to the world that you have that copyright. But you got to be careful, man. It could potentially cost him. Luckily, he's making some money these days off that podcast. You know what I'm saying? So, and maybe he so Travis Brock said, Janaea, that's crazy. He wanted to clarify that he is not in Fort Worth. So I know that's a big thing. They be trying to combine cities and areas and stuff, but DFW is not a thing to people that's from there. All right. Now, what else we got? So I don't know if y'all remember, but I alluded to this earlier. So let's see where I got the footage for this. Because this dude right here is a wild dude. I'm going to share my screen real quick. That's why they tell you don't have all them tabs open. Can't even look at all them tabs at one time. Why you got so many tabs? All right. Well, let's do this. I could just do it this way. I'm not tripping. So
fuck with me, you class. You are nigger trash.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Keep talking.
I will.
Okay.
Fuck with me, you class.
What you gonna do?
I tell you what.
I'm a stupid nigga, everybody.
Yeah,
I'm a
she is a
nigger.
stupid nigger.
He hit my plate. I'm a stupid nigger.
Go fix your car. And stop honking at people when you don't need
Shut
to.
your bitch ass.
But you are nigger.
So just to give you a little bit of information, if you didn't see it originally, he was riding a motorcycle and hit her car. She went and found him, and that was his reaction to her coming to confront him about hitting her car. So as you can see from the clip, he's a former police officer. He ended up becoming a security guard because he has some type of disability. So, it is what it is. But check this out.
Okay.
This is an update that I wasn't expecting to make. I certainly didn't have it on my 2023 bingo card. To get you caught up in case you aren't familiar, a black woman in Houston, Texas, recorded that video after she had a road rage incident with that man. He was on a motorcycle. She alleged he struck her vehicle and did damage to it, so she followed him into a gas station to confront him and get his information, and he responded that way. That man ended up being one David Tupper, a former cop whose law enforcement career ended after he was involved in a bad motorcycle accident where he was severely injured. In fact, I believe even losing one of his eyes. He currently was working as a security guard, and the part of the story that kind of tripped everybody out was the fact that that man who spoke that way to a black woman is married
to a black woman. Now, sisters, would you be married to a man that talks that way? That's crazy. Now, he died. I'm not happy about it. I'm not sad about it. I'm not even going to say that it's the chickens coming home to roost like Malcolm would have said or did say. But nobody saw that coming. He was married to a sister. That's the part that still trips everybody out the most. Sisters, what would you do if your husband came home after going viral for that? I just want to know. I have some ideas in my head, but I want to know what y'all say. Now, one of the ideas in my head is a motorcycle accident. I'm not saying she did it, but if she did, I understand. There you go, Janaea. That's key right there. No respect for his wife. It's like it's bad enough you don't have respect for black women in general, black people in general. But man, knowing that you got to go home to a black woman, he might not ever went home after this came out. I'm gonna keep it real. I don't know. I don't know if I would have, but you know what I'm saying. So somebody cares about this man dying, and I'm gonna say what Cameron and May say. It is what it is. But I did want to cover this one more time because I guess this is the end of the story. There's not gonna be a trial. There's not gonna be anything else because the Lord got him up out of here. So this is the segment right now that we call Killer Karen Confrontations. All right. KKK. Sometimes the middle K could stand for Ken. Now, if you're like me, you grew up in the 90s, and that man was the mayor of New York City for most of that decade. And he was known, a lot of people liked him. They said he cleaned up the city. But what he really did was created a system to harass Black and Latino people with stop and frisk and all types of heavy criminal charges for people doing things. And, you know, he ended up going up the totem pole. He worked all the way in the White House with Trump. And when Trump didn't get elected, he ended up having all these things to say. First of all, he's a part of that one of the criminal conspiracy cases with Trump in Georgia for election fraud. But he also went on a tirade where he said that he defamed a couple of Black women saying they rigged the election, and people saying they rigged the election. He named 2 Black women by name, Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss, who were election workers in Georgia. And the jury came back and awarded them combined $148 million. And it's getting crazy out here for Rudy. I don't know what he's going to do. Like I said, longtime friend of Trump, former New York mayor. You know, they said they're going to try to pay. And a federal judge on yesterday ruled that Giuliani must immediately begin paying the 2 women, concluding that there was a risk he may attempt to conceal his assets. And guess what? Rudy Giuliani filed for bankruptcy today. All right. So he named that he has between 100 million and 500 million in liabilities to go along with 1 million to 10 million in assets. So before I continue, yeah, brother, Malcolm, we love Malcolm over here. So you might hear Malcolm from time to time. So basically his liabilities back to Rudy are 100 to 500 million. He says at the most he got $10 million. He recently put one of his 6 condos for sale for $6 million in New York, but he's still gonna fall short on paying these sisters. But you know, it's probable that he's gonna still have to pay. There's precedent, which is an important thing in the law, for bankruptcy not being an excuse to get out of a judgment in this way. So if you remember the Sandy Hook mass shooting where somebody went into the elementary school in New Jersey, another person, no sir, another person, I think his name's Alex Jones. Yeah, Alex Jones had a $1.5 billion verdict against him for defamation. He filed for bankruptcy, and the court said that he could not use bankruptcy in that way to shield him from that judgment. So it looks like there's some precedent that Rudy's going to have to pay. Maybe he could get OnlyFans. Would you pay for Rudy Giuliani's OnlyFans? And if you did, what would you want to see Rudy Giuliani do? I'm just curious. All right. So, and the fact, and this is the other thing too, he's still facing this criminal trial right now for the conspiracy and to commit election fraud and all that stuff in Georgia with Trump. He's one of like the 21 or 22 defendants. My thing is, I don't want to go to jail. I'm not even gonna ask you. I know you don't either, right? But I definitely don't want to go to jail when I'm 82 years old. Please spare me that. Rudy made a living prosecuting Black and brown people, and now it looks like he may end up in there with them. All right. So it looks like nobody wants to see Rudy Giuliani's OnlyFans. And as always, we're talking about hip hop on trial. So there's nothing going on. We talked about it last week with the Thug trial. It's been suspended because one of the defendants got stabbed while awaiting a court one day. So they're off for the rest of the year. But in the YNW Melly case, there are some updates. So for those who don't know who YNW Melly is, he is a Florida rapper who has been accused and already tried once for killing two of his friends, YNW Sack Chaser and YNW oh man, I can't remember the other guy's name. It's hard to keep up, but essentially the new prosecutor, so the old prosecutor got kicked off the case for withholding evidence from the defense. But the old prosecutor also said that they didn't believe that the lyrics and the videos and things like that from Melly were needed to prosecute him. Well, now at the last minute, as they're getting ready to start the new trial in February, the new prosecutor has said that they have 55 songs and some videos that they want to use as evidence. So the previous prosecutor said that it was an artistic expression, but now they see that judges are allowing lyrics in, and they already got a mistrial, a hung jury one time. So they got a hung jury one time. So now they're probably a little bit desperate to win. So one of the more famous songs that Melly has is "Murder on My Mind," and that's one of the key things that they want to use is "Murder on My Mind." So I know y'all too seasoned to have actually heard this in real time. So I'm gonna add it to the.
I'm in Barnes household, 211 shot.
Triple 187.
My Instagram, could he pussy nigga be snitching? Everybody acting suspicious. Might probably say that I'm tripping. When I'm all alone in my jail cell, I tend to get in my feelings. And all I smoke is that loud. Don't pass me no midget. And I'ma smoke all of my pain away, cause that's the only thing that gon' heal it. I don't understand you women who go around pretending as if they really fuck with me. So I love them all from a distance. Cause the same bitch say she down the ride, be a main one who tricking. Got my limits with promethazine, cause every time I wake up in the morning, I got murder on my mind. AK-47s, Mac 11s, Glocks and 9s, and all these pussy niggas hating, trying to knock.
So we don't got to listen to more than that, but I'll tell you what. Look, if I was on trial for murder, the last thing that I would want them to be able to introduce to a jury. Like look at this young man right now. So he's still got tattoos on his face and all that, but man, he's in a suit. He's he looks, got his hair pulled back. It's all nice and neat. He's got a smile on his face. So the jury might be like, yeah, let's Jamel, he seemed like a good kid. I don't know if I believe all that. And then all of a sudden,
off my grind, but I can't let them do it. I got murder on my mind, bitch. I got murder on my mind.
I don't know, man. It's not looking good for the kids. So he's facing the retrial. They're looking to bring these things in. Obviously, the defense is trying to keep it out. So we are going to see what's going to happen with that. But it's a lesson for all you rappers out there, Reverend Brock, you too. It's a lesson for all the rappers. If you actually are living a lifestyle that is not legal, leave it out of your raps, because now they know that they can use it against you, and they're going to do it every time. Fat Joe has already come out and said 95% of my raps is cap. I don't know if I believe that, but that's what he's rolling with, right? So yeah, man, please, please, please. And he even said in the song, the snitches is on the Instagram, and he made a song before the whole thing happened. So they could use your music from before. It's not even something that you're talking about after. They could just use music to just show that you are that type of person. Like it's crazy that this is going on. I think it's going to end up being overturned at some point, but that's what's going on right now with YNW Melly. The defense is really upset. Like, we're on the eve of trial. You've already told us for years, because he's been locked up since 2018. He turned himself in 2018, and now we're going for the retrial. You couldn't beat us the first time, and this is the way that you're going to try to beat us on the second trial. Wow. So kind of related to the Thug trial, but not really. But Gunna was one of the co-defendants. He was able to get out with an Alford plea. For everybody that doesn't remember or doesn't know, an Alford plea is when you say, I'm not guilty, but I will plead guilty because I believe that there's enough evidence that they could prove a case against me. And usually when you plead out early in the case, you get some type of lenient sentencing. So he opted for the lenient sentencing. All right. And he's been out. So when this happened, everybody started saying, Gunna snitch, Gunna snitch, Gunna snitched. Right. So now, smartly, he has security while he's going shopping in LA. You know what I'm saying? And probably other places that he goes to. So as a result of this, there was some, it's been going on. I've been talking about, speaking of him being a snitch, one of the more popular rappers now, Lil Baby, has made songs, has talked about it, and calling him a snitch. And Thug's dad is not here for it. This is what he had to say when he was on an interview.
All about Lil Baby throwing shots at Gunna for his plea deal.
He need to shut the fuck up.
Woo, dad.
Because he don't know what's going on.
Dang.
He's going off of what he heard.
Baby throwing shots at Gunna.
I don't know what happened.
What's going on. He's going off of what he heard. Ask Lil Baby, have he ever came to a court date?
Oh, okay.
See, that's what I want y'all to ask these goddamn rappers and these bloggers with this whole snitch shit and this. When have y'all went to a court date to support Slime?
So I ain't mad at Big Jeff, and I ain't surprised at Big Jeff because I seen Thug. What you thought Thug Dad was gonna be in a suit and tie talking the King's English? I think not. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. Right now that they're using Thug's lyrics and his co-defendant's lyrics as well. So once they saw that was allowed in this case, that's what made them do another case. But that's a good point, man. Everybody like free so-and-so, do this, do that. But are you putting money on their books? Are you going to see them, supporting them, or are you just doing it for the fame, right? Trying to live off of their cream a little bit, right? So I don't know what the case is with Lil Baby, but he was real mad about Gunna being a snitch. So what I do have a problem with though, Big Jeff, is you need to have some type of publicist, man. You calling the man Slime. They trying to say that they don't have nothing to do with Slime. They saying that the S, what do they say? They say it's the young YSL is the, I forgot the acronym, but he's saying it's not Slime, and you out here talking about Slime. Bruh, you gotta be on the same page with the legal team. You can't be out here giving these rogue interviews, man. You gotta tighten up, Pops. So yeah, man. And I'm gonna be honest, if it was my son, I'll be as passionate as Jeff right now. You need to shut up. Yep.
To support Jeffrey, to support Thug, however you want to name him. Go on their social media pages and say, why in the fuck haven't?
Come on, man. You ain't got to say all that. But he sent the people to go say why you ain't supporting his son. And last thing I'll say about that before we go to the next story is that brother right there can't go to paternity court because Thug look just like him. Yak. Man, you done had so many chances, bruh. This man got pardoned by the president when Trump was leaving office, and he couldn't just sit down. I hate to see it for Yak, man. He's back in custody with federal custody for violating his probation. He's been doing a lot of interviews recently, looking very zooted, and you know he doesn't have a bond. He's just got to sit there. So you know, if you know Yak, then you kind of know he doesn't really care that much. He's one of the young popping rappers, and the police approached his SUV, found him asleep in the driver's seat, noting a strong odor of burnt cannabis from the vehicle. So I don't know, man. These rappers need help, man. I agree. These rappers just need help, man. Like when you have that much money and obviously you're that unintelligent, like somebody has to protect you from you. Like you got to just have a dude that's gonna be with you, and his job is to be square. Like, man, you can't drive right now. Yeah, you under the influence. We're gonna ride with the weed in a different car. You drive in the car by yourself with clean. Like it's something. You gotta have somebody to be like, no, and then you gotta have a dude that's already got a record. Like, oh nah, that's my stuff. I'll do the time. You know what I'm saying? I'll eat that for you. Yeah. You can't just be out here doing dumb stuff, man. So dang. Lashana know all about it. I ain't mad. So we out here, everybody in the comments. So rapper Cena need a driver and a handler. There you go. That's what you call it. Way too much money to be doing all of that. So that's actually our What the Florida for today. So we usually in the store, the show with a What the Florida, man. What is you doing? Yeah, man. What are you doing? You could have had it all, brother. You could have had it all. He still probably would be all right, but he may have to sit still for just a little bit. And that's all I got, man. So tell me this. What was the story that you liked the most? What and also, or what would you like to know about? Because the show is for the people. I find stories every week. You know what I'm saying? I bring them to the people, but I want to know what the people want. So let us know that. You can leave a comment, and we'll try to do better for the next time. Yeah, I know because you work with them, right? So next week we're coming back. We've been doing this. I think this is like episode 40 something. It's either like 40. It's between 40 and 42. I lost count, so I got to count them up. But we've been doing this every week since March, and I think it's getting better. But I want to make sure that we covering the stuff that you like. You can holler at us on social media. If you have a real case, hit us in the DMs or send an email so that you don't put your information out there. We don't want to tell on ourselves in the comments. So just holler at us, and we'll make sure that we get you situated with a dope black lawyer, or we'll talk about whatever it is that you like. I appreciate everybody coming out once again and watching the show with us. We're actually in a little bit early. I think it's because I'm going solo. So sometimes I have a co-host. Today it's just me. And that makes the conversation flow a little differently. But we'll be back next week, and we'll be talking about more stories. Stuff happens every week. As soon as I get done, I go to the CNN, or I go to Hip Hop DX or whatever, and it's a new story. Like, dang, man, we should have covered that, but it literally just happened. So we're gonna always have something to talk about. I'm not gonna hold you. I will see you the next time, and peace.